Hey, Julian. Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Thank you for jumping on the chat with me. It's nice to see a familiar face.
No problem. I found the last one that I saw pretty interesting.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, thank you. I needed a conversationalist tonight. So, did you see the topic for tonight?
I think what the one thing that makes you walk away regardless.
The one thing that will make you walk away without explanation from a friendship, a relationship, anything. And
Mm,
is there one thing?
I mean, not one thing for every aspect. I don't think.
Okay. So, any deal breakers?
I mean, the simple one, and if you were going to spread it among all aspects, I would have to say it's simply betrayal. Never
That's
give
pretty.
somebody a chance to mess over you more than once. I always grew up with that one.
And so, have you always followed it?
Yep,
Really?
it's necessary for survival.
Okay. See, I haven't always followed it. I've always given people three times. Three times was my rule. And now I just have no patience at all.
Mm.
Yeah. Three times was my rule. So now it's one. It's one for me.
Well, I think one of the biggest things by choosing betrayal is it has to be something that they know that you simply don't stand for. Them violating a line without actually knowing it's a line doesn't count. Violating a line without actually knowing it's a line doesn't count. And I say that because you say in all aspects of a relationship. So they have to actually know that it's a line that you will not stand for it to be crossed.
But isn't there some things that should just be human nature? Like, there's just some things that you just know that you shouldn't do. At least I think so. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that you're expecting a lot out of another person for them to assume anything.
Okay.
If you're not willing to voice it, it means for some reason you don't even want to say it. So why would you expect someone else to know it?
That's pretty powerful. Well, some things though are just I don't know. I think some things you should just know better.
Give me an example. I'd love to hear.
Well, I would say probably hitting somebody.
Hitting somebody?
Hmm.
Hitting somebody like who though? Where are we going? Somebody hitting
Um,
me?
if I just walked up to you, I've never known you, and I just hit you, I should know better than to just walk up to you and hit you.
Mm, I don't know. You've traveled the world. You've seen different cultures too. You can't assume anything.
Okay. See, that's where your military background comes into play. You've been exposed to stuff that a lot of people may not have been exposed to.
I mean, it's understandable that most people don't assume a situation is automatically violent. Yeah, I guess I could get you that one.
Yeah, but human nature and human decency, I'm not just going to walk up to somebody and hit them and then be like, oh, okay, can we be friends? I'm just
Hey,
saying,
you ever seen football boys on football field when they were younger? Remember the
Yeah.
90s?
And I grew up in the hood and we did that. But I'm just saying, as an adult, no.
Hey, I spent my preteens learning that's supposed to mean girls like you when they run around trying to hit you for no reason.
Oh, that's what boys do. Girls don't do that.
Boys do well. See, that's a little different right there. My dad had a severe rule about ever hitting a girl. So I ain't never thought anything was funny about that one, other than the run. That's why they could hit me.
You let the girls chase you and hit you.
I had to.
That's so
I know, right? Y'all are so cruel, animals.
we are not. We're sweet. What do you mean? Not us. We're so sweet, Julian. You know we're sweet and kind and nice, and we don't even get angry. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I take that back. I take that back.
Just want to say, you don't want to get your whole system struck if you just got it working and everything.
Yeah, no. Not at all. But yeah, no, I was thinking about the topic. I was like, what are some deal breakers? And mine's is betrayal too. Um, and I think, and like you said, not speaking it, but I think people, if they know you and they know how you are and they've been in relationship with you, I think that they would know by just being in your presence some of the things that you are not okay with, especially if you talk to them. You know what I mean?
That's still assuming if you're not willing to voice it.
But if you voice it, let's say I voice it and it's not towards you. What if I came to you and I said, you know, Julian, when I was growing up, me and my sister used to argue all the time. I don't like to argue. That's just something that I really don't like to do. And then we get somewhere in public and you decide you're going to pick an argument with me. I didn't directly say for you, but I shared with you that I don't like to argue.
Okay, I can see the inference easily.
See, come on, you got to make this easier for me.
You got to be able to voice your concerns. Hey, I get a little shaky when people raise their voice. You got to give me some exact things we're dealing with right here.
Okay. So are you saying that's how we should enter every relationship?
No, I'm saying if you haven't voiced it, then don't go over the top with it once it happens.
Okay. So that's where the three strikes come in, right? That's where my three strike rule comes in.
I don't know about it. I guess you could say that. I'm sorry. It's a one time deal once I tell you what the problem is.
Okay. So two.
Female goes off at the table. Later on that night, I explain, hey, I don't do that drama. That was the last time we'll ever hear this.
Gotcha.
Next time it happens, you'll find yourself sitting by yourself.
Okay. That's a good one.
See, the problem is too many people are running around to me, from what I see, expecting other people to read their mind or understand how my actions may have inferred that I'm not good with this. No, just go ahead and tell people, look, I don't roll like this.
Okay. So, how do you share with somebody that you're newly meeting or in a relationship with what your boundaries are? What is the best way to do that?
Hmm.
Without being too forward, without scaring them off, without, and I, so long, long, long time ago, I went on a date with this guy. And I'm just putting, and so I'm ready. You know, I'm excited about going out. I'm dressed up. I'm just ready to have a good time. And he decided to tell me about his relationship with his ex and how she cheated on him. And oh my gosh, how he feared that. And it just ruined the whole night. And I was like, okay, tonight was not the night to have that conversation. That's a first date. It should have been light. We should have just hung out and had fun. But instead, we got you dumping, you know, that you fear being cheated on, or that's something that you don't want. And I'm like, we haven't even got to know each other yet to even know that this is what we want to do. So um, how do you convey that to somebody that you're just meeting? How do you share that in a light way?
At the end of the night, when you said this was nice, but I don't think we're compatible. And I say that because, okay, I'm guessing you originally went out because you were attracted to them, right?
We met and I thought that he was a nice guy. We had talked several times and then we went out on a date. We went to dinner. We were also supposed to go dancing. And before we even got there, like at the restaurant, he started with his ex girlfriend did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, whoa.
That's what I'm saying. So without setting a line, he crossed over. Now,
Yes.
with that, it killed all the attraction. What's the purpose of telling him something so you can try to get re-attracted to him? It's over.
No, it's not. No, no, no. It's not telling him. So I'm saying, how could he have approached it differently? Not me. I knew
Oh,
already when he did all of that that it was, the dump had been done. But what I'm saying is when you are meeting somebody new. So let's say I'm the one who has, you know, hey, I'm just going to say, Julian, you're handsome. I usually don't date handsome guys because I've had issues with them, with all women being attracted to them. So I'm just going to kind of, I like you. I think you're a nice guy, but this ain't going to work. I mean, not that I'm saying, I'm just using that as an
yeah, I
example.
got you. I got you.
How do you, how do you deliver boundary information softly? And is
Well,
there a way?
first of all, boundary information is only for people that you actually are in a relationship or plan on maintaining with one. If I meet you first off and I realize that your personality already crosses boundaries for me, there's no reason to explain my boundaries. We
I
can just
got you.
move around. That's my simple answer for that one.
Okay. Well, see, I have been doing friendships and dating all wrong. Because I give people exceptions. I'm like, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day. Oh, maybe I just caught them off. Maybe, they're upset about their job or, so
But see, when you create exceptions for people, I've always wondered that myself. One, especially on initial meetings or first couple of dates. And I'm kind of old school like that. Gentlemen on their P's and Q's, we're trying to, like they used to say, pull. I might sound old with that. You're trying to pull her. This is not a time you can be off. Definitely not concerned with voicing how bad your last ex did you and why on earth women are terrible, because I've seen dudes who do that. That literally scares me. Why are guys running around talking like women about how terrible women are? It's crazy. But that's neither here nor there. You're not having a bad time. Your mind is already messed up. But hey, I'm scared masculinity is dying anyway. It's killing me.
is it really?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, why do you say that?
Why do I say masculinity is dying? Because you have a bunch of people out here trying to explain what dudes are doing with all these emotions that pretty much a female population is telling them that they should have, versus telling them the truth. We don't have the same emotions. I saw one earlier. I was looking at. They said that okay, someone breaks in your home. Guy and the girl is both there. The guy doesn't get to be scared because the woman is scared, and the guy doesn't get to cry about it because the woman has to do that. First of all, they shouldn't be having the same emotions at all. When someone endangers my family, my first emotion is not fear.
Your first emotion is to protect, right?
My first emotion is anger.
And to protect,
Yes.
which comes from anger.
Directed anger toward the threat.
It's rage, right?
We never go there because even when raising my kids, that was one of my biggest ones. They knew the biggest way to make dad mad was to put him in a situation where he thought that you could be hurt. Now that one right there, I couldn't even whoop my kids at that point. I actually had to back off of them and let somebody else discipline. Because that's my biggest fear. But to think that I'm having the same emotions as my woman in a given situation is not a thing. People are too busy trying to say guys and girls are the same. We aren't. Not by any scope of imagination. And I do get sometimes you have a lot of guys who were raised by nothing but women and never had a chance to experience male guidance, tell them how to deal with the emotions that they do feel. And you end up with what we call toxic or these violent men because they don't know how to process emotions other than the way they saw their moms deal with female emotions.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's why they're called toxic because they have emotional outbursts.
Hmm.
Got
Toxic
it.
masculinity is literally masculinity. that no male has actually shown them what to do with it. I don't care what you say, it takes a man around to show him how to process things. I grew up with my mom from the time I was 13, but there were just certain things that she couldn't process because she does not have those feelings.
Got it.
I mean, I give you an example with me and you. First time you lost your first boyfriend, you felt one way. Oh, you were mad at him. First time a young man loses his first girl, he wants to hurt the other man. And nobody's there to tell him how to feel about that. He needs another man to help him process.
So, can I tell you a funny story, Julian?
Go ahead.
I was in the second grade when I had my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend. And we all went to the same elementary school, and a new boy came to the school. I can remember their names, Orlando and James. And so my babysitter, who lived by both of them, one day, I broke up with Orlando because of James, and both of them came over the house, and they were fighting on on my neighbor's lawn in the second grade. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was all hysterical. And then they made up and they were friends, like that never happened.
Exactly.
But yeah, so when you said that, it made me think about that.
Blaze, that's a whole different one right there. When women get mad, their grudges last for months. Boys, especially depending on age, once they get physical or whatever they're going to do, especially if you take all the weapons away, later on they can be friends. Guys end things and finish them. I work in a female-dominated industry. I have saw one beef between two people destroy an entire hospital because
Are you
everybody has to pick
kidding?
sides. Yes.
Oh, that's pretty dangerous. So it sounds like women need some men to teach them how to control their emotions, huh?
Now, I
And
don't
let
think
stuff go.
I appreciate the emotions that women have. I can't teach them how to manage them. A lot of times to me, they seem alien. I cannot understand why you feel it that way. Why do you assume that I'm supposed to know what your boundary is just because I've been around you?
Because you're supposed to know. You're just supposed to know. You are just supposed to know. That's it.
And that's that $1 million female answer I never understand.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things, you know. If you don't know, then who else knows? I don't know. I really think the uniqueness that we both share as men and women, um, they're both assets. We just have to know how to use them together. That's all. They're both assets.
I agree.
Yeah. And I don't know. So, speaking of going back, because I'm working on volume 2 of the Book of Dating Fiascos, and I'm also writing another book called Heart Rules. And one of the things in Heart Rules that we talk about is men not being emotional and women being stable.
Okay.
Um, what is your take on that?
Men not being emotional.
Hmm. Not in the not in a toxic masculinity way, but um, some men can be, yeah. Sorry, maybe I let me rephrase that. Women not being so emotional. Women not being so emotional.
Uh, I don't really think that's the thing. One thing I do love about women is the realness of their emotions. And
Really?
yes,
So you like when we act crazy?
stability and chaos. It's a beautiful thing together.
Okay, so I don't act crazy enough, huh? That's why I'm single. I gotta start acting crazy some more.
Wow. No, you may be crossing somebody's boundaries with your crazy, and that's why you're saying. But
You know what? You got jokes. You got jokes.
Hey,
No. But no, I'm gonna try that. I'm just gonna act a little crazy, just a little bit emotional. I tend to gear more to the side of being emotionless unless I'm in a safe place where I feel like I can be emotional. And it's just because I'm used to handling things, managing things, being in control that I am not as emotional as I probably could be or should be. So,
and see, by the same token, it's on a man to actually make you feel safe enough where you can break down if you want to. Not saying you got to go and inflict emotion on something, but if you feel safe enough, it'll pour out. It's not something you have to judge or make happen.
hey, Name.
Hey,
Hey, girl. Hey.
how you
So we
doing?
are good. How are you?
Good.
Good. We are talking about relationships.
Oh,
And what are your deal breakers? What will make you walk away without questioning anything? What are your deal breakers?
you asking me that question?
Mhm.
Um,
Friendship and love relationships.
um, in love relationships, cheating. That's my absolute deal breaker.
So is it a you cheated, let's go to counseling, or is it a you cheated, I'm done, I'm just out?
You cheated, I'm out.
And why so strong on that particular one, if you don't
Because
mind me?
I've been through it before. So, um, I mean, in a love relationship, I would absolutely put that standard up front so that everybody is clear on where I stand. But at my age, I'm just not putting up with the foolery.
And I know, you're not in that situation where we even have to talk about it. But if you were dating,
Hmm.
how early on would you let somebody know that? Would you let them know on your first date, after you got to know them? How would you deliver that? How would you set that boundary?
Um, I would probably say honestly, um, it could be on the first date. It could be on the first date. Again, if I'm dating at my age, we I would be I would be talking and trying to get to know someone on my same level. So I think as a mature adult, let's just go on and have a mature conversation. Because, you know, over 40, you've been in a relationship, you know, you've had relationships that didn't work. So, you know, that's just me.
Okay.
What's
And
that look on your face? I'm on mute.
I'm there. I was just thinking about Julian said his was betrayal. I think mine's is betrayal too.
Well, but you know what? Cheating is a form of betrayal.
It
You
is.
know, so if we are on a first date and I'm talking to you about what my expectations are as we are getting to know each other, um trust is way up there on the list, right? So if I'm talking to you and I'm telling you what my deal breakers are, and I make it clear that that's one of them because I've been through it before or whatever, and we continue on in a courtship, and then you go and do that. I mean, you've been betraying me the whole time, like, you
Agree.
know.
Agree. I completely agree with that one. Yeah, that's a big one. That
Yeah,
is a big one.
yeah, like, don't do that. There's no, again, there's no need to do that, you know. um in just be upfront about what you want. If you want a committed exclusive relationship, then you can have that. But if that's not what you want, just be honest and give me the opportunity.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So if someone says, hey, this, I like you, I like hanging out with you, but I'm not ready for exclusivity yet. But a lot of times people won't say that. They'll drag you along. They'll
Mm-hmm.
pretend like they won't. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I
And
guess,
if someone told me that up front, then it's on me on whether or not how I want to continue on. Now, obviously, if they say that they aren't ready to be exclusive and they want to still get to know me, I don't have a problem with that. We can still get to know each other. Again, my expectation will then come down, you know?
yeah, great. Now, what about in friendships?
In a friendship, um, I'm real big on loyalty.
Okay. And explain when you say loyalty.
Um,
Is it
I
loyalty, like Jay-Z said, don't tell me what they said about me. Tell me what you said that made them comfortable enough to say what they said about me.
Ooh, that's deep.
No, that, yeah.
Um, I would say, I mean, I've had a best friend for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would say like respect. You respect me and I'm gonna respect you. But that loyalty comes in as, um, you rock with me. Um, because I'm gonna be loyal to you, and I would never make you question where you stood with me. So I don't want to have to question where I stand with you. No one should be able to come in where I would have to question if we are really true friends.
That's good. That's good. Julian, how is it with men? How do men handle that? Or you guys don't have those challenges
And what? Explain what you mean.
with relationships, with other men, like friendships?
I mean, I do agree with what you said. I think it was kind of weird that a friend of mine, an actual true friend, can come back and tell me what other people said hating on me. I need to know what was his reaction.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're talking about my boy, we got a problem. But then again, I grew up in a house with boys. I have two brothers. You got a problem with my brother, you got a problem with me. I grew up in the country. We were all cousins. You got a problem with one cousin, it's a whole family of us. And that transitioned into my adult life with the friends that I have and my army buddies. It's
That's tough.
always a brotherhood. You're either my friend or you're not. Now, with acquaintances, those rules don't count.
Y'all been doing this all wrong. I done made some acquaintances, friends, and okay,
Well,
y'all
yeah,
teaching me something.
you know what though? Not everyone deserves the title of friend. And unfortunately, I've had to learn that the hard way over the years. But I did learn over the years that you have to put people in categories,
Hmm.
and you deal with them according to the category that they are placed in. Because not everyone is a friend.
I agree. I agree.
I do agree. A lot of people turn around. One of my biggest pet peeves is people assuming that coworkers are friends. You see me with them and I work with them, they are not my friends.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, that was a lesson. Now, I have had some good friends come from co-working relationships, but yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah. And I too, I've had the same thing with some coworkers that I'm really good friends with. That person has had my back and has looked out for me, and vice versa. I've looked out for that person, and I consider them a friend. However, I could call that person today, and if I needed something, they would be there. But we don't hang out. Like, we don't hang out together. Like, we don't go to,
They're not in your inner circle.
no. Mm-mm. But I consider that person to be a good friend because I know at the end of the day she got my back.
That's good. Okay. Okay.
What dude is that?
It is a guy on here.
Who's that? Thurman.
Yes, he is listening,
Tell
laughing,
him
talking about where the
hello.
dudes at.
Tell him, come on, we need his opinion too. Tell him we need his feedback. Join us, Thurman.
I ain't ready for that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He not even on TikTok, so he just gonna have to listen through me.
He just well, he could talk. He could talk. Tell him to share his thoughts. What's his deal breakers?
What are your deal breakers, Thurman? You know, a
Broke,
romantic
broke and
relationship.
ratchet.
Lord have
He
mercy.
don't want no
Eyelashes on
scrubs.
the headlights is a deal breaker.
What else did he say?
Eyelashes on the headlights is a deal breaker.
Oh, no caterpillars for you?
Nah.
No caterpillars. Okay.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah. A rat. That's a deal breaker.
A rat? A hood rat?
Yeah, just being a rat. Starting stuff all the time. Can't say that to her.
So if you've been talking to, look, I'm taking over your live, Keisha.
No, go. I'm like, no, go.
If
Let's
you've been
do
talking to
it.
someone, say you met them online, right, and y'all just been talking on the phone, and y'all finally get to a point where you are meeting up for lunch, and she comes walking in the restaurant with eyelashes on, that's a deal breaker for you?
No. I said on the cross. That's rat. That's rat behavior.
Oh goodness.
I
He
ain't
said that's rat behavior.
We're talking about on the car. He said that.
Oh, on the
You
car.
know how you've seen people with
The
eyelashes?
eyelashes on their headlights.
Yeah, he said that's rat behavior. I disagree, but okay. And what was the other one you said?
put them on.
What was the other one you said? No, what are your other deal breakers? Oh, bro. You said bro.
Bro.
Want man to take care of him. Like, nah. You got your own. I bring my own to the table and we have a whole entree.
Do you hear that?
I do. I think at our age, yeah, we're not building no bears. No build bears here. That workshop is closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no build bears.
What you think?
Julian,
Mm-hmm.
what's your thought
On what?
on building a bear at our age?
I mean, it's
Male
not,
or female bear?
not so much building. But people will change over time. But if you don't see what you like initially, I don't understand why people keep looking. That one's weird to me.
Okay, explain.
Meaning, just like you said, someone's personality is, which you didn't say it this way, but the whole hyper emotional dude about his ex. Okay, I see you're hyper emotional. There's no reason to continue this. Why keep? Well, maybe they had, or like you said, maybe they had a bad day. Why are we dealing with this?
So
You
no
know,
chances.
I mean, you see them raw and uncut at first, so why look deeper? Once you set rules, when you set your rules in place, you're giving me, for guys, especially those of us who learned a lot younger, you're giving me the keys to the game. That shouldn't come initially. First, you get to learn me and about me, and then you give me your little rules, so I know what I may or may not be allowed to do. If you come out the bat and you give me a straight set of rules, and then wonder why people turn around and say things, which this was actually taught to me by a woman, how he managed to get so into you when you told him exactly what you wanted him to be. How do you think that works?
So don't tell them. Don't
Let
tell
people,
nobody nothing. Just let them wonder.
no, you let them be themselves. Now, if you see something that at the moment is not dangerous and it's something that you don't do, then you tell them, hey, that's my boundary right there. We're not going to do that. They disagree. They know. There's no reason to continue from there.
Okay. That. So ask Thurman what his deal breaker is with friendships.
My deal breaker when it comes to friendship, what I put out is what I expect in return.
So you believe in a law of reciprocity.
I believe, yeah, I believe that you should be down for me as much as I'm down for you. If I'm willing to give you a kidney, I shouldn't have to ask or not think that you wouldn't give me one. There should be no question about that.
But how do you establish that boundary though that they know? Because I had someone that I thought was a friend and I thought we were on that level. And when the rubber met the road, I found out that we were not. And it had been like 5 years into the relationship. How do you establish that boundary up front? And at that point, I cut it. And she was like, I was hoping that, it was just a disagreement. I was like, no, it's not a disagreement. It's your character.
I think the signs be there though. I think the signs,
They do. You're right. But
and
how do you set the boundary up front?
yeah, we ignore the signs until we get upset, and then because it's been building. But they show you who they are out the gate. We
They
just
do. You're
everything,
right. But how
everything.
do you set that boundary up front? How do you say to them, listen, I consider you a friend and I will give you a kidney. But I need to make sure that when the time comes, if I need a kidney in exchange, you going to give me one too. At what point do you have that conversation?
I don't know if guys had that conversation. We don't talk like that. We either brothers or we ain't. You know what I'm saying? In a different sense. We either I heard Janine talk about categories earlier. Either we happy hour boys or we hey, I'm gonna drive you to the house tonight and make sure you get to the refrigerator. You leaning on one side. It's different with dudes. We don't. At least I don't. We don't talk. We don't like. Hey man, listen. If I need a kidney, can you give me one? That's like the whole calling the guy, telling him good night. The whole little skit that's going around.
Yeah,
We don't do that. We either and God, we don't call everybody our best friend. Not we got solid dudes that we fool with, and then we got our brothers that we don't have to talk for 2-3 years.
And
Okay, I
that's
think,
the person who just joined was
yeah, Her microphone was going. It
So
was
it's an
with guys.
unspoken word with guys. Like, okay, I'm asking Thurman. He has a best friend, like his childhood friend, Meech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you put your trust in Meech to give you his one of his kidneys if you needed it?
What says again?
Would you put your trust in Meech to give you one of his kidneys if you needed it? Y'all have never had the discussion, but that has been your childhood friend.
That's a good question. I would probably say more Ken than Mrs.
Okay.
But I think part of that also goes with knowing your friends and you know what they're capable of. You know what I mean? You know who they are in and out. And you know, okay, yeah, they would do this. And that's kind of what I was saying to Julian. Some people, like, I may say, you know what, I don't like to argue. I argue with my sister all the time. That does not work for me. And as my friend, you would pick up on that and know, you know what? When I'm with Elle, we're not gonna argue because I know that she don't like that. You know what I mean? I don't have to directly tell you that this is what I'm not gonna do with you, but because you know me, you know that that's something that I'm not prone to. You know what I mean?
But everybody ain't that smart. You pick up on
That's what Julian said. He said you have to tell them.
it. Yeah,
So
everybody ain't that smart.
okay, so it sounds like we need to teach people how to be then, because it's lacking. It's really lacking.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
some things are just common, and some people should just know.
No, I think we got to accept the fact that the sexes are different first. Stop expecting us to act like y'all want us to.
Well, not just for male, Julian. I think that even, just some things are just not common for people. Some people just didn't. Okay, that's like, I don't know how to go from right to left at a table for a formal dinner. That ain't my thing. I know how to eat. That's it. I didn't get that. That ain't that. I wasn't graced with that, but it's okay. Some people need to be taught certain things. Some people need to be taught human decency and etiquette. They weren't given that. That's all I'm saying. They need to understand that there are rules to relationships that make things work.
That's true.
Well,
Like going up to the school and acting a fool with the teacher because your child went home and said that the teacher said it. Well, get the teacher. We're talking about children and adults. Get the teacher's version. You got the child's version. Form an opinion. But you got some that don't because they've seen people act a certain way. That's how they get down. They just gonna go up and go ham on the person that is being accused of something without hearing their version. And you hearing the original version from a child, as an example. And I use that example because I've dealt with that. So, or we had an issue at an Airbnb. I could have went ham on the owner, but you take a more diplomatic approach. We end up getting 2 free nights and some money back. You know, and then you got people like, man, I wouldn't have acted like that. Well, no, that's how you're supposed to act. You act a certain way when you're supposed to or when you need to. So with friends or with people, you got to teach them. But if they don't have an example, then they're not gonna learn,
so they just not gonna know.
Mm.
I always
or
say
they
that,
don't want to
Keish.
know.
Yeah, I always say this. I've been saying it for a long time because my mother told me, and I've been practicing it, and I have in return told my children, you have to teach people how to treat you.
Good stuff. Yep, I agree. I agree.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
You said you don't know about that. What's your rule? What's
Well,
your
I think the
side?
problem is a lot of times People confuse how to treat me with telling them how much I'm willing to put up with. Those are not the exact same thing. Meaning, someone's action and how they act on their own, that's all them. How you treat me is how you address with me, how you deal with me, the types of places that I move to, and how you need to interact when we're in those places. Accepting who they are a lot of times. These are the ones that y'all like to call red flags. Now, that brother was crazy long before you took him in that restaurant and he acted a fool.
Yep.
You just thought it was cute at first, as long as you was outside where couldn't nobody see his cute self acting a fool.
He didn't act the fool with me. I didn't even know him.
I hadn't even created a scenario, so we must have hit a nerve.
Hey, somebody saw him acting a fool and said, "Dang, you don't see that?"
Yeah. I was like, something wrong here. What's going on? You having an emotional breakdown? Yeah, not good.
Hmm. But that's one of them things that we just kind of sweep and then we keep it moving until it gets on our nerve.
Yeah, ignoring people's,
Hmm.
yeah, their oh gosh, what do you call it?
Them being themselves.
In a nutshell, I think you're right.
What did Maya teach y'all? Someone showed you who they are?
Believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them. That is so true.
Yeah, because I always say you can only pretend to be something that you're not for so long.
And then the real you appears.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mask off, mask off. So
Yeah.
good conversation. Thank you guys. Anything else y'all want to add to the topic? Oh, let's see. Did I have any interesting questions?
Enjoy a lot of time setting expectation while people can get on stuff.
Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Has anybody hurt you that you still have not told that they hurt you?
Nah, men don't do that.
What y'all? You yell it from the rooftop, or you go hit something and then you fine?
No, you tell it to them. Why do you
Okay.
think men end up in a lot of physical altercations? Because we're gonna tell it to you, and if you don't accept the way I told it to you, that's usually where physical interactions happen with men. We're plain and simple, straight to the point. What I'm supposed to sit in the room and cry about it?
Yeah. It would be nice to see some emotion. I'm not saying sit in the room and cry.
Hell no, we ain't sitting there and crying.
I'm not saying sit in the room and cry, but what I am saying is if I hurt your feelings in some kind of way, I want you to come to me and tell me that I hurt your feelings. Just that simple.
I'm with you on that one. Men told it. You know that was effed up, and we go on. That was kind of the whole conversation. That's as deep as it get for us, man.
Mm.
And do you forgive, or do you just you say it and you move on? Is that what men do, or some men
Once again, that's the last time we're gonna do that there.
just like that? That's the last time we're gonna do that. There. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Done.
it.
Done. Okay. I'm gonna pick that one up. That's the last time we're gonna do that. There. Just like that.
That's it.
Don't try no more.
But see, okay, you have to know the person that you're with, and having effective communication is one of those things. Like we as females, we are emotional creatures. So I'm gonna need a little bit more than that.
We probably have already given you more. You didn't want to hear it. That tends to be the problem. We tell y'all And
No,
sometimes
listen.
I'm not painting with a broad brush.
And then
Y'all
think about
take it as something that is not. We are face value creatures. We gonna tell you, hey, uh, this is what I need. It ain't gonna be a laundry list like y'all. We gonna do
one of the
Well, Thurman, so
2 to 3
if
things.
you tell me to get you a red pen and I see clear, maybe you're not communicating correctly. Maybe
No.
I didn't hear you right.
If I tell you why you talking, don't be pointing that pen in my face. You don't do that.
Like, hey, I just said a red pen. Yeah, yeah, that's what I need. That's red, right? Let me get that.
But then, okay, I'll say that's not red. That's clear. It's clear with red lining. So sometimes you got to be a little bit more descriptive.
So what I'm going to say
Because the
is,
pen is not red. The
so
top of it was red.
That's it. It's a clear pen.
so if I said I need a red pen, I would think that you would go find me a red pen, not with a red cap, not with red print text on the side of it, a red pen. And then if I
Okay.
get that pen and I start writing this black and I pop off, who started?
It's your fault because you said a red pen. You didn't say a red ink pen.
A,
You
a,
said
a red pen with
pen.
red ink. You have to be very
Okay,
specific.
Yeah.
It's like Chat GPT. What you put in, you get out.
okay.
You got to make sure you delivering it with specific instructions.
Okay, I will. Fine. Okay.
Ain't this the same species that hate people giving them exact instructions? Y'all ain't nobody, child. Heard that one before.
See, that's the old peanut butter and jelly activity. You ask somebody to put together a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or write instructions on putting together a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it has to as detailed as you can make it. If you miss a step, the sandwich won't get put together correctly. So I accept that. If I say I need a red ink pen, I expect you to give me a red ink pen.
You'll get this pen right here because it got a red top, but then you'll say that's not red, it's clear.
No. If I said a red ink pen, I'm expecting it to be red ink. I don't care if it's in a purple case. If it's right in red ink, then
So would it be I need a pen with red ink?
Yes, that's what I was because
I need a pen with red ink.
yes, because then if you say I need a red ink pen, I'm gonna ask more questions to make sure I'm getting you what you need. Do you want the pen to be red, or are you talking about the ink? Like, come on, give me some more.
I'm just going to say I'll type it. I'll just type it.
I can believe it.
That's too complicated, right?
Yeah, that's. If y'all need that much, I'll just.
Well, I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying sometimes you have to add a little bit more if
so
it's
let's-
not clear.
Okay, so let's do a real scenario aside from the pen. Give an
Okay.
example, then we can break it down.
Thing is, y'all thinking scenarios. Just like, let's just take me and you. Yeah, I say, hey, I don't like you talking loud. And women start thinking in scenarios, well, what if I need to get your attention? We addressing this situation. Why are you thinking in multiple scenarios?
That's an excellent example. Because y'all, what if?
I hate that statement.
Yes. Well, what if we can do what ifs all night, all day?
we all be fun.
Okay, but if you tell a woman you don't like her talking loud, is it you don't like me talking loud when we're out in public? You don't like me talking loud in the bedroom. Where don't you like me talking loud? Because see, you tell me you
How
don't
about
like me
just
talking
stick with
loud, you
where
ain't gonna
I
get
just
loud
told
nowhere.
you
How
that?
about that? And then you're gonna be mad.
How about we stick with where I just told you that at? Stay right there. No other scenarios, no extra anything.
Yep.
Okay, so just wherever
If we in
the
the-
comment is
If
made.
we in the store, you loud as hell, and I said, you know what? You're loud. Am I loud in the juniors department? Am I loud in the men's department? Where am I loud at? You're just loud in this damn store. Can you just not be so loud? Then I'm like, okay, well then you loud in the car. You loud when you was ordering McDonald's the other day. You yelled to the order. Like you just loud. Just tone it down.
So now you don't want me to be myself.
No, I don't want you to be loud.
Oh, there you go.
So what is this with men and women being loud? What's the issue? Does it trigger something? What's the issue?
I mean, everybody got a background. Mine specifically comes, I was raised by yelling. My mother yelled. I had drill sergeants yell at me after that. I don't like people to raise their voices. I take it as a form of aggression. When it's a woman, I just separate myself from it. And if you ever notice in a group of men, you rarely see them yelling at each other unless something's about to happen.
Yep.
Or unless y'all watching sports.
Like I said, any scenario, boy, y'all.
I'm like, y'all be yelling at the TV and at the games. I mean, come on. We don't tell y'all, calm down. You loud. Calm down.
What's the game? Like, come on, man. Just
He be upstairs watching the game. I be downstairs and I have to listen to him. I be like, hello? Like, really? You got to be that loud?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then y'all should understand.
Yeah. When we in the store, we excited about shopping. How about
we
that?
Get excited about certain things.
Oh,
in the store, I might see a Coach bag that I've been looking for, or I might see whatever, and I get excited.
All of the above. I agree.
That's
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've heard all month.
No, for real. We get it. Or when we're talking to people, like when I'm at Starbucks and they're like, welcome to Starbucks. Can I tell? I'm like, hey, how are you today? Yeah. How's your day going?
Can I get a
calm it down, you're loud.
And easy on the whip. I'm like, why are you so loud?
So they can hear me. Over the loud.
They right over the counter.
Well, we just different in that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just different in that way.
Okay. So wherever it is noted that you're being loud, that is the place where you need to tone your voice.
Yeah. We trapped in the car together. And you're like, hey, it's right there. Stop that. We're not going to do that no more. Especially not in turning line. All right?
Man. Okay, so I learned something tonight.
Yeah, duly noted. I learned something.
Mm-hmm. So it's only where it's at.
About being loud?
No.
Yeah.
Sudden reactions to things that don't need sudden reactions.
Well, I will remember the red pen or the clear pen with the red top.
You like that because it gives you multiple things to think about at one time.
You know, we are diverse. We can multitask.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a very detailed oriented person. So I always get down into the weeds.
Listen, I just want I just want a pen at this point. I don't care if it is
Sister. You just want a red pen. But see, you said a red pen, so you're going to get a pen that look like this with blue ink on the inside, and you're going to be upset. Clarity.
I'll be like, let me just, hey, hand me that blue.
Give me my laptop. I'm just going to type it out. Give me my iPad.
Just make sure you ask your homeboys and not your lady. Hey, man, I need a red pen. All right.
Yep. You got a red pen over there? Yeah. And toss it. Boom.
The topic tonight is deal breakers in relationships. Things that you will immediately walk away from in either a friendship or love relationship, whatever that may be. Anything that you will walk away from immediately. No questions asked. You're done. Somebody does it, it's over. That is the topic tonight. So if you have something you want to add, feel free to join us. And we'll probably go for another 5 minutes or so.
Add to that, Thurman, since you didn't get in on the beginning of the conversation.
I'm simple. I disrespect is my number. I'm not gonna disrespect.
Disrespect is big for me too. Mine's is disrespect and being dishonest. And I guess that goes back to loyalty. And it just all boils down, I think, to loyalty. People presenting one way and doing something else. That just does not, yeah, it doesn't settle well. It's like, nope, 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 nope.
I mean, one for you. Why give 3 chances? That's an interesting one.
I think I lived by the 3-strike rule up until about 5 years ago. Just baseball, 3 strikes, you're out.
And then too, well, in my younger years, I would say maybe fear. You keep giving chances just because you have certain fears.
That's a good one too, Name. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know where the three strikes came from me. I think I really want to say baseball. Because I do feel like people are entitled to be human. I do feel like we all have off days. But the other thing I've learned over the years is intent. Um, People's intentions, that is a big one for me. Like, what was your intention? If you did something because you were off or something happened, or, I can deal with that. But if I feel like your intent was malicious and you intentionally did something to hurt me or to try to make me feel some kind of way, then we have a problem. So intent is very big for me.
That's an interesting one for women. Why do you think certain actions y'all give intention to? Meaning it had nothing to do with you, but all of a sudden it's about the intention for you.
Some things are not intentional. I just think people are doing them to do them. And in those situations, I will give grace. But when people do stuff out of malicious intent, like they are intentionally doing something to harm me, then that's a different level. Like, for example, this is just me. I feel like cheating is not, if somebody cheats, that's not about me. That's about them. It has nothing to do with me. I may be impacted by that, but it had to do with them and them seeking something, and they felt like they needed to get it somewhere else, and it had nothing to do with me. Right? Doesn't mean I'm not going to exit the relationship, but it just means that, again, I can't hold myself accountable for their actions.
Yeah,
Because
you're not
I'm
gonna
not
do
going to walk around and be like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
I don't know who I am anymore. I lost my worth because of something. No, that was all about them. They had their own stuff, and vice versa. But if for example, I'm just using this as an example, that, and Nina, I'm going to use you. Nina's my absolute best friend in the whole wide world. She is my cousin. We are ride or die. We share everything. And you know how I feel about her. And you go and you intentionally try to talk to her, then we got a problem because you knew. And you did that. That was malicious to me.
Yeah, that is a little deep right there.
That's low down.
Yeah, that's malicious. That was you intentionally wanted to hurt me. You knew how I felt about this other person despite what was going on with you. And so you tried to destroy that relationship. That's malicious.
I agree.
And it's malicious on both sides because you destroyed the relationship with me, but now you try to destroy another relationship that I have. And that's not okay. And that I would feel some kind of way about.
Okay, I'll get you on that one.
Yeah. And I may have to, in the words of my grandmother, I may have to PREY on you, not PRAY.
A lot of us went to college back in the day. Situations like that, at this big age, yes, don't make any sense.
Yeah. But it you'd be surprised. Um, yeah, you'd be surprised where people are in life.
But that shows you the other person's selfishness. I can't deal with your level of selfishness. That's how I see it.
And that's true too. It goes both. I mean, there's so many things that's wrapped around it. So many different things that's wrapped around it. So many different emotions or things that we can call it. But yeah, it's malicious.
Hmm.
So, yep. And that's it. That's big. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to share this out on TikTok. So everybody join, like, and follow Jade. Get some of her body butter, her whip. What is it called, Neen?
Oh, uh, my body frosting.
Body frosting.
Yes.
Jade's
Wow.
body frosting. What else do you have?
Um, I just have the body frosting right now, which is a body butter, but it's so smooth it goes on like a frosting. I'm currently working on my sugar scrub, so that's coming up next. And then I just launched for Father's Day my men's line of the body frosting. So there's men fragrances in the body frosting now. And Thurman will tell you he uses this body frosting every single day. I don't buy lotion anymore.
Man, y'all trying to turn people into snacks for real, huh?
Well, it's just called a body frosting instead of a body butter. I just wanted to be different from everybody else. But it is a body butter, but smooth enough for men. And I now have men's fragrances. So,
Nice.
yeah. So, thank you for that plug.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Julian, what we plugging?
For me, nothing. I don't. I'm just a simple person that likes to give information. Since I done finally made it to this big age, I turned 50 in August.
Okay. You joining the 25-25 club?
I don't even know what that is.
Well,
It's
welcome to the club.
the
Welcome to the club.
25-25 club. So we don't sound so old. You take 25 and 25. It makes 50. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you just break it down. You doing 25 twice.
Whoa.
What, does that sound worse than 50?
Thurman said the same thing too.
He said, "Whoa, does that sound too much? It really makes it real."
Whatever. I embraced when I turned 50, I embraced it. Okay. I felt like I was just coming into my womanhood. I love it.
So,
I don't
Neen, I
know.
have to ask you because I was so afraid of turning 50. Like, I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be 50." You were like ready for it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I was okay with it because out of all of my friend groups, I'm the youngest, right?
Okay.
So I was okay with it probably up until about maybe 6 months prior to, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm about to be 50. Like, oh my goodness, 50. But then once I turned 50, I embraced it. Because I'm like, I still look and feel 25. I've been saying that forever. I don't feel 25, but I'm still passing for my 30s. So I'm like, hey, I don't have a problem with sharing my age. I'm about to be 53 this year, and I'm loving it.
Good. I love that. I love that.
Because I don't feel it in my mind. I don't. Sometimes I have to remind myself, like, dang, I'm about to be 53. Like.
And that's good stuff. That's really
Mhm.
good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. I turned 51 this year. So, Julian, come on, join the 50 club.
Right.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly but
And
surely.
it ain't a big age.
It's really not.
It's not. It's not a big age.
Nah,
Yeah.
50 is not a big deal to us. I think as a man, 30 was a whole lot bigger than anything.
Really?
Yep. Because then I felt like I wasn't a kid no more.
Mm.
Well, they say at 29 is when we have it's some kind of lunar something, but when we really are adults and we're fully developed by that time. So, and I always say, like, when it comes to kids, don't leave them anything until after they turn 25, because if they get it before they're 25, they will blow it. After
Really?
25, they should be making, you know,
Better choices.
yes, better choices, sounder decisions, doing different things. So, yeah, but 29, I remember being like, oh, okay, I'm an adult now, really feeling like an adult.
For me, at 40, when I got ready to turn 40, I was excited to turn 40.
I was scared too.
Mm-mm, I
I
was
was scared,
so
40 and 50.
And I was like, ooh, I remember saying it, ooh, I feel like I've really come into my womanhood. But turning 50, I felt like, yeah, like I'm the real deal now. Like I'm 50. Like,
I love that.
mm-hmm.
I think for me, and this was my own personal thing, I felt like where I grew up, there was so much like hard living for the people that I grew up with. And
Mm-hmm.
so I saw them like in their 30s, and I was like, ooh, I just don't want to look roll hard and hung up wet. That was sorry.
I think we can all attest to that.
That was my biggest fear. I was like, oh my gosh, can I please age gracefully? I was like, what do I need to do that? I want to still, look young. I don't want to be like, 50, and it scared me. Like, really. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days I wake up and I'd be like, ooh. But overall,
Mm-hmm.
overall, I still wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's a blessing. And every time I get called old, I be like, keep living.
yep, yep.
Keep living.
But the wisdom at this big age, I think, is huge. And for me, the ability to cut things off, because I've always been one to let things linger on. And I have now gotten to a point in life. My cousin used to always say, you're so nice. You're so nice. Stop being so nice. Why are you so nice? I'm still nice, but now I'm nice and I don't mind saying, nah, I don't want this in my life. So
Yeah.
that's huge for me. That is really huge for
Good.
me.
That's growth. And I mean, I think I'm the same way. I think I've been the same way in certain areas, but now my attitude is what you put out is what I'm putting out. And it's just as simple as that. I'm not giving any more than what you're giving. And that's it because I've been the person who kind of give and extend the olive branch a lot and then find myself upset when I don't get the same thing back in return. But it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, the expectations, you know?
Mhm,
So now
mhm.
I don't have such high expectations of certain people. And that's why I'm comfortable with saying, okay, well, okay, oh, you spoke to me today. So I guess we speaking. Okay. And I'm cool with that. And when you're not, I'm still cool with it.
You let it be. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I think that's big. And I think Thurman says something really important. The law of reciprocity is huge. My sister for years would tell me, you need to make sure you have friends that take care of you just as much as you take care of them. And I would be like, you, girl, you still need to grow up. And
Mhm.
now I'm like, that is my philosophy. I was like, if you're not gonna give me a kidney, you ain't getting one from me either. We can't even talk. Just go on. We can be acquaintances, and I'll be nice and say hi when I see you. But yeah, no, we're not.
And that's it, and that's the extent of it. And I don't have any ill feelings, but it's just,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's just what you giving and it's what I'm giving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna make it do what it do. But yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Well, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you. Listen, Book of Dating Fiascos, Volume 1 is available on Amazon. Please get a copy if you have not gotten a copy. You will laugh, you will cry, you'll think, what is going on out here in these dating streets? Currently working on Volume 2, soon to come. And I have another book that will be coming out soon called Heart Rules. The 25 Principles to Love and Relationships. So
Okay.
keep you guys posted on that. But thank you, y'all. I appreciate you, Neen and Julian. Thanks for the heart, Julian.
No
Everybody who
problem.
joined tonight, appreciate you. Have a great night. Happy Tuesday. Make the rest of the week wonderful.
All righty.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.